Good morning. I'm Peter Milios from the Finance News Network. Stocks fell on Thursday, pressured by rising Treasury yields as traders fretted over new data showing persistent US inflation. The Consumer Price Index released on Thursday increased 0.4% on the month and 3.7% from a year ago, according to a Labor Department report. Dow Jones estimates were 0.3% and 3.6% respectively. The core inflation number, excluding food and energy prices, came out in line with economists' expectations at an increase of 0.3% on the month and 4.1% on a 12-month basis. The data comes following a stronger than expected producer price index for September. Treasury yields rose on the back of fresh inflation data on Thursday. The benchmark 10-year rate moved nearly 11 basis points higher to 4.707%. The 2-year Treasury yield was trading at 5.06% after rising by more than 6 basis points. Yields recently hit a 16-year high, rattling stocks. Earlier this month, the 10-year Treasury yield traded above 4.8%. Some investors believe high yields are here to stay, influencing Thursday's downturn in the equity market. Overall, the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 0.5%, while the S&P 500 was down by roughly 0.6%. The Nasdaq Composite declined about 0.6%. The indexes are on track to snap their 4-day winning streak. Shares of Walgreens gained 6% after reporting narrower losses and progress in its cost-cutting plans. Still, the pharmaceutical company offered soft profit guidance and an earnings miss. Several companies, including JP Morgan, BlackRock, and United Health Group, are slated to report earnings on Friday. The ongoing Israel-Hamas war has raised questions of a potential oil supply crunch and a resulting rise in fuel prices if the geopolitical instability spreads to neighboring oil producers in the region. Brent crude oil gained 0.6% to more than $86 a barrel. The price of gas also rose on the news. The price of futures contracts for Dutch gas, the European benchmark, rose as much as 14.2% to 53 euros per megawatt hour, taking its gains to more than 30% since Hamas's attack on Israel last weekend. The moves are the latest jolt for a market that has been volatile since Russia's invasion of Ukraine last year. In further commodity news, China has criticised the EU's plans to investigate its steel makers for subsidies, stating that it disrupts global supply chains and goes against international trade norms. This is part of an agreement with the US, where the EU investigates steel producers in exchange for the US not imposing tariffs on the EU steel and aluminium. Turning to US sectors now, all closed lower except for tech and energy. Materials was the worst performer. The SPY futures are pointing to a 0.8% fall. Thank you for listening.